Rochelle said, and I recorded what she said. She said that it ended different than it started.
And I was going to say to our group, in the beginning it's a happy story in the beginning, and then the problem comes in the middle when there's a problem, and then they solved it in the end, like the telephone we did.
Nice. You even added to that. I wasn't even there yet. Look at this conversation. So we had that it ended differently than it started, right? It was passed down. So just like I told Cameron, who told the person next to him, who told the person next to him, or my great-great-grandma told my grandma, who told my mom, who told me. People are telling the story, and it has a different ending than how it started, maybe. And then our group added that it has a problem and a solution. So I have an example of a pourquoi that we're going to read together. All right? Because we know it's a story. Lou told us that it's a made-up story, that it's fiction, it's not real. We know it has a problem and a solution. And we know that it might not be the same story that people told us years ago. It might be a little different. All right? You have a question?
I want to say, it says the same thing up there, title, study characters, problem, solution, and the person.
Personification.
Personification.
I love that you're using the anchor
It says
terms.
the
We're
same
not even there yet. So we are going to read a pourquoi together, and then we are going, and then we're going to code it, which you're going to help me do, and then we're going to fill out our note catchers. Ready? All right, can you turn your bodies to face over here? Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Kiani. Thank you, Rochelle. I forget your name already. Corey, I remember, but what's your name, sweetheart? Ayana, thank you. Haley, thank you. Kayla? Kayla, thank you. My story is called Why Bunnies Have Cottontails. Now, I'm going to tell you, I wrote this story. So I pretended to think of a story of why bunnies have cottontails. I don't really know. I just made it up. Yes, Lou?
Is this real?
What do you think? What did you tell me before? That it's made up. Do you think that this is a real story?
No.
Once I get to the end, I want you to tell me, because I thought it was pretty silly. So let's see what you think. I'll read it to you, but then I have copies for each of you so you can read it on your own after. The first time, I just want you to listen. Long ago, bunnies lived in fields but had no tails. One day, a bunny wanted to go on an adventure with his friends. They went to a cotton field. There's a cotton field. It's a field where they grow cotton, what they make your clothes out of. The balls of cotton were so soft, and the bunnies were so tired from their long journey, so they decided to take a nap. When they woke up, they were covered in cotton. Two sneaky owls followed the bunnies to the field. The owls swooped down to grab the bunnies to eat them, but they could only pick up the cotton. As the bunnies ran back to their home, the owls chased them, trying to eat them, but still could only grab cotton. The bunnies realized that if they kept a piece of cotton on their back, when they ran, the owls would try to grab them, but could only get their cotton tails. Soon, all the bunnies put cotton, they picked it from here, on their backs to save them from the hungry owls. That is why bunnies have cotton tails.
I already read it before.
Lou, do you think that's real?
No.
Yeah.
I made that story up. I made up a story
I like it.
of
I like
why
it.
I think bunnies have little cotton tails.
I like it.
Thank you.
Wait,
So, we're going to read it one more time, but this time I'm going to give you a copy. You have the same pictures as up here. They're just a little smaller so you can see them. Do you have a question?
I was going to say,
Lou and Haley, can you help me pass these out?
I know this is not a real story, but could a cotton field be real?
Cotton fields are real? That's a great
Yeah.
question. Cotton
They
fields
are.
are real. That's exactly what they look like. That's
Yeah,
a
they
photograph. And bunnies are real, and owls do eat bunnies, but that is not really how bunnies got their tail.
Even they colored the clothes.
Yes, they could put dye in your clothes to make them color.
Yeah. And they put us
Yep.
Yes, please.
Oh, yes. And then if there's extra, you can just put them on the table over here, right on top of my computer.
All right.
So let's read this all together one time. You can read it in your head, you can read it out loud, but if you read it out loud, you have to follow along with me so we're all reading at the same time. Ready? Right? Perfect. All right. Do you have a copy for you? Okay. Ready? Starting with our title. Why Bunnies Have Cotton Tails. By Anonymous. I didn't want my name on there. Long ago, bunnies lived in fields but had no tails. One day, a bunny wanted to go on an adventure with his friends. They went to a cotton field. The balls of cotton were so soft, and the bunnies were tired from their long journey. So they decided to take a nap. When they woke up, they were covered in cotton. Two sneaky owls followed the bunnies to the field. The owls to grab the bunnies to eat them, but they could only pick up cotton. As the bunnies ran back to their home, the owls chased them, trying to eat them, but could still only grab cotton. The bunnies realized that if they kept a piece of cotton on their back, when they ran, the owls would try to grab them, but would only get their cottontail. Soon, all the bunnies put cotton on their backs to save them from hungry owls. That is why bunnies have cottontails. So there are, we talked about some parts of a pourpoint tail, and Javier, told us that I gave you some examples up here. You are going to, when I say go, with a partner, see if you can find, because in our target we said the title, the characters, and the setting in our story. I'm going to show you how you're going to do it though. So, notice on my chart I have colors. What color is my title? Yellow. It's actually, I wrote it in yellow and then I realized you couldn't see it, so I had to trace it in black. On your paper, because this is your story, you're going to find your title with your partner and highlight it in yellow. And then, what do you think you're going to do after you find your title in yellow? Who can raise their hand? Once you find your title, it's in yellow. That's why I have my girls.
You're gonna give us an orange marker.
So once you find your title and you highlight it in yellow like I did, raising your hand, what do you think is going to be next? I'm going to ask Lou. Go ahead. What do you think is going to be next?
You're gonna write down the title and then you're gonna give us.
That is a fabulous guess. However, we're not going to write it down this time. You're going to write it down the next time. So if you're not going to write it, what do you think you're going to do next?
You're gonna give us an orange marker and you're gonna write your setting.
Oh,
Then
so,
you're gonna
freeze. So then, you're going to highlight your title in yellow, just like I did here. Then you're going to work with your partner, you're going to have a partner, and find your setting and highlight it in orange. Who can remind me what the setting is? We wrote it over here on our learning target for today, what the setting is. Who can raise their hand and remind me? Kayla. where or when. So you're going to look back in here and figure out where or when did this story take place. Finally, what is the last thing that you are going to do? Raising your hand. What do you think? Rochelle, what do you think's next?
I'll put the character.
Perfect. After you highlight your title in yellow, just like I did here, and you highlight your setting in orange, which you're going to do, I don't want to give you the answer, you're going to highlight your characters in purple. Are there any? Remember our learning target? Today we're just doing the title, the characters, and the setting. Does anyone have any questions? You're only going to get 3 colored markers, so we're not working on down here. Just our title, the setting, and the characters. Oh, do you have a question? Thank you for raising your hand.
Why don't we know how to do all of them?
Because we still have to learn more about a pourquoi before we figure out all of these. So until we learn more about a pourquoi, we're just focusing on the title, the setting, and the characters. Any questions on what you're doing, on your task? You have a question about what you're doing when you go back with your partner?
I want to say, so the only thing we're talking about is the title, setting, characters. But I was gonna say that are we gonna take just these 3 or and then take the other 3?
Who thinks they can answer his question? Are we focusing on these 3 today?
No.
Nope. Another day. Any question on what you're doing, Kiani?
I know how to do problem solution, but not the blue one.
Are we focusing on the bottom today?
No.
No. All right. Lou, you have a question? That's not a question on your task. All right. Miss Sullivan,
Yes.
if you can pair them up.
Yeah, let me just get these 2 out, because they gotta go do that.
So while Miss Sullivan is pairing you up, and she will not pair you up with people that are going to distract you. Hey, where are you going to find the title, the setting, in your paragraph? And make sure you know that you're only getting 1 for your group, so you need to share with your partners and talk
Is it
about it.
1 partner, 2 partners, how are they, just 2 by 2?
2 by 2, unless you think a 3 is more appropriate for a group.
No, I was just asking.
Yeah.
Rochelle and Eku.
And you can find a quiet spot in the room and go ahead. And if you need help, your key
Kayla
is
and
up there.
Kiani.
I gave them to Kiani for you. You're sharing with Kiani.
Javier and Archangel.
Wow, I love that every group is finding their own quiet spot and getting right to work.
Tivoli and Anessa. Tivoli, she's right here, honey.
Oh,
Over here. Tiv, right there, babe. You 2 stay close to me, because you weren't in the room, so I can we'll get you caught up to where you're at. I would like Ayana and Andrew. Go. Go. Andrew, go. Jabron, you're going to join these 2 with me. And you 2 go to Miss. Okay. Andrew, go with Ayana.
I'm going to set my timer for 4 minutes.
Go sit there.
Field.
So,
Sitting at my Now, what to work with.
so, this one.